Welcome, everyone. This is Ruth Mitchell, editor of the Wholesaler magazine. In just a moment, I'll be starting my conversation here on generational leadership. But before I do, I'd like to say thank you very much to our sponsor today, Liberty Pumps. Liberty Pumps is headquartered in Bergen, New York, and is a family and employee-owned leading U.S. manufacturer of pumping products for groundwater and wastewater removal in residential and commercial applications. With a focus on innovative product design, its wide range of pump styles includes sump pumps, sewage pumps, effluent pumps, drain pumps, grinder pumps, and completed pre-assembled sewage packages, along with other pump accessories. Utilizing a vast network of plumbing wholesalers and pump distributors, Liberty's products are relied upon by hundreds of professional contractors each day. So thank you for joining me today, everyone. Again, my name is Ruth Mitchell. I'm the editor of the Wholesaler magazine, and I'm so excited to be presenting to you a series that we're doing on generational leadership as we lead into the 50th anniversary of the Wholesaling 100 that will be showcased in our July issue. So joining me today, I'm joined by the dynamic duo, my brothers Dan and Jordan New. They're the third generation working within their family-owned and operated wholesale distribution company, MidCitys Supply. Based out of Elkhart, Indiana, the company has 9 locations throughout Michigan and Indiana, servicing contractors and homeowners for their plumbing, HVAC, refrigeration, PVF, and industrial product needs. Now, MidCitys Supply is rooted in well-trained associates with a partnership philosophy to deliver the best value-added services while maintaining competitive wholesale prices. This has served the company well in its over 70 plus years in business. Now, the brothers are the third generation in the business, and Dan, whose current role is that of VP of Administration, has worked within the company for 10 years. Jordan, whose role is that of VP of Operations, has worked within the company for almost 7 years. Both being more than familiar with their businesses, their roles are about to change as they both step into the role of co-president, guiding and continuing the company's growth on its path with the third generation at the helm. We've got a lot to discuss, so I'm just going to jump right in. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me here today.
Thanks for having us. Happy to be here.
Well, I know it's been a crazy busy day, and I love the phone call that I received earlier this morning that said, Ruth, business is going crazy right now. Can we, look at holding off for a little while? And I said, absolutely. So I thank you for your time today. But it really just goes to show that when you're running a company, working for a company, it really, truly is all hands on deck. So with that being the case, gentlemen, you've both worked within this industry for a long time, and you've worked within it and you've worked outside it. And you've both been with your company now, some 7 years, some 10 plus years. As I stated in the opening, your roles are about to change. Will you tell me what's taking place?
Yeah, so as our dad, Jeff, starts to retire here, Jordan and I are going to be stepping into the roles of co-presidents. And this wasn't really the plan all along. Originally, this was four plus years ago when we started coming up with Jeff's succession plan. The original idea was to have Jordan step into the role of president. We continue as the VP of Administration, and our VP of Sales, Joe Bellman, to continue his role as well. And about a year or so ago, Jeff came to Jordan and I and said, hey, I have an idea I want you guys to consider. I want you guys to consider becoming co-presidents. There's not something we had really heard before. Jeff had learned about this because one of our good vendor partners, Sloan, currently does that right now with the Allen brothers. The 3 Allen brothers are co-presidents, and he had learned about that and liked kind of what their model and why they did it. So we actually had a call, Jordan, Jeff, and I, with Kirk, who was gracious enough to give us a lot of his time and help us along this journey, and really liked what he had to say, and really and their reasoning, their model really resonated with us. And so shortly after that, we met together as an executive team, so along with Joe, and talked it out and decided to change and go with the co-president's role.
And in terms of like Dan mentioned, both worked outside the industry and have always wanted to come back to Mid-City. And, for several different reasons. But one of the biggest reasons is our ability to help others. Right. And so that is, and then stepping in and actually leading and going through this whole process, both of our skill sets are different. Right. And so we started to divvy up the responsibilities and started to realize, well, we're running this 50-50, just like our ownership. Like that should fit with the co-president role. I mean, it just fits better, and it's more of a direct reflection of how we're running things. And plus they just didn't trust that I could do a good job, I think is really what it was.
Always have the backup there, huh?
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, remind me again, when did this conversation start about co-presidency and how long in the making has this been?
Yeah, well over a year ago.
Yeah. And because, like I said, Jeff had heard about it from the Allen brothers at Sloan, and really it wasn't something that we rushed into. So he brought it up to us, and we kind of thought about it a little bit and talked about it and what that would mean and why. And then we had the call with Kirk, and then again, Matt talked about it. I mean, this is not something we took lightly. It's not something, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, Jordan and I, neither of us really care what our titles are. It's not going to change what we're doing a whole lot, but we felt like it was better for the organization.
And we still have quite a bit of work to do with this. I mean, we need to set up clear lines of communication because, one of the great things about having one person at the top is that everybody knows, okay, that's the decision maker and that's it. When you put two people at an even playing field, it can get a little complicated, right? Go to Dan when you want something, and then if he says no, then you go to me, right? So Kirk actually made a really good point and provided us some key learnings that they had of, make sure that if they get one decision from one of us, that's the decision for both of us. So we still have a lot of work to do when it comes to actually putting things on paper for the rest of the organization to make sure lines of communication are crystal clear.
When is the official announcement going to be made about, I hate to use the word promotion, but the change in leadership, so to say?
By the end of this month, probably.
Before this airs.
Okay.
The reason we both laughed is because Jeff retired 2 years ago, and so by no means do we want to kick him out. I mean, as long as he's here, everything's his fault, right? So we want him to stay as long as possible. But no, the reality is he's started to enjoy retirement a little bit more, slower and slower into his future life, right? And so,
well, that's wonderful. And for our viewing audience here, Jeff that they're referring to is Jeff New, the gentleman's father, who was the second generation at the company there and now turning over the reins, so to speak. And I understand what you say when you said he retired 2 years ago. And frankly, no one really retires from this industry. I'm sure that we're going to see him, and I hope so, along the lines here at upcoming events.
I'm sure you will.
I'd like to take a step back and ask you both, what is MidCitys company mission and core values?
So in terms of our mission statement, you kind of read that in the intro. So I'll go a little bit higher level in terms of our vision. And our vision is really to drive success with people associated with our organization. And we do that through product distribution, business consultation, and flat out simple caring. So we had the opportunity, Jeff, a wise man, had us go elsewhere and work elsewhere before coming back here. And so we had the opportunity to see how Fortune 500 companies run, how it feels to be a number, right? And we never wanted to have that experience here. So when we say simple caring, it's unfortunate that it makes us unique today, but we actually care more about the human than the bottom line. Right. So really, that's really our mission and our vision is to drive success with those associated through our organization. In terms of core values, our core values actually were created by our associates and Jeff a long time ago. And those are honesty, integrity, responsibility, enrichment, flexibility, optimism, respect, safety, self-esteem, cooperation, customer focused, and enthusiasm. those are great. There are a lot of words. So one thing that we have kind of evolved is that we are more concentrating on behaviors and core behaviors that we think have gotten us to this point and will take us further. And so if you'd like, I can share some of those behaviors.
Absolutely, because I was just going to say what you're about to describe, these core behaviors, it sounds like this is going to be how you, number one, and keep the integrity of the current leadership into focus, but also how you're going to put your own spin on it in leading the company. So yes, please continue, Jordan.
Yeah. So, words mean so many different things to so many different people, especially nowadays, right? So that's why the behaviors are a little bit more exact of what we're looking for. So the first one is a stay approach. Stay positive, stay honest, and stay together. Mm-hmm. Teamwork. We are a team. Together, our objective is to take care of our customers in a safe manner. The next one is customers first, whether that's internal customers or external customers. All customers are important, and they're the reason we have a job, right? Value. Be a value be a valued partner to those in business with us. Train. That is our value, right? If we, with more product knowledge, our value is increased. We talk about empowerment and responsibility. We want everyone to think and act as an owner. You may not have a piece of paper that's saying you're an owner. However, all associates should behave as if they are an owner because they have a piece of the pie and a piece of the action through sales bonuses and profit sharing. The next one is family. So family is MidCity is a family-oriented company. We're extension of the new family. So that means it's faith, family, work, or family, faith, work. But work's always number 3. If I have something going on with my family, my son, I'm out of here. And I expect the same for our associates and the same for Dan as well. Next one is humanity, appreciate others and express that to one another. Recognition is key. Having good energy, good vibes, all of those things it's a real thing. And then finally, enjoy, work hard, have fun. Make money and have fun doing it. Jeff always says that, and I think that that's something that's never going to go away.
Yeah, and I'd like to add one quick thing to that. So I think these behaviors, words, well, the core values are good, and all those words are great words. They're words you hear a lot with businesses and just in society and things you want to strive for. But words mean different things to different people, like Jordan said. We had a speaker at an Emerging Leaders conference. Might have been the one in Cleveland. I can't remember exactly. And he talked about, when he was talking about culture, talked about words are just a single word and they mean different things to different people. And he went through a bunch of examples of how this specific word, and I don't remember the exact examples, but the bottom line is that when you tell people a behavior to take or an action to take, it's easier to communicate that to the rest of your company. You're going to get people understand exactly what you're getting at and what you're trying to accomplish much better if you can give them a specific behavior and just instead of saying integrity. Well, that word means different things to different people. So putting these together, even though there are a lot of them, I think it helps us really get that message out and get our core values out to our associates. So we're all moving in the same direction together.
I think that from hearing both of you speak about the company's core values and the mission and the direction that it's headed, as the next generation that's coming at the helm here, you have to pay homage to the past, and you also have to look to the future to see where you both want to take the company, where you think it should be best suited moving it forward. So as co-presidents, tell me, what do you think is going to be the first change that you make to the company's roadmap to help support what you're talking about for the core mission and values?
Yeah.
So I don't see a lot of immediate changes. So, you kind of mentioned as our role in the executive team, Jordan and myself and Joe and Jeff have really been running the company for a handful of years now. So I don't see a lot of immediate changes coming. We like the direction we're going. It's something that we're constantly talking about and constantly looking at. So we like the direction we're going. And we also like our ability to be nimble if we really want to be. if we feel like that's the right way to go. So I don't see a bunch of immediate changes right away, but we're going to use our values and our guidance that we've been using and continue to go in the direction we think is right.
And I smile because one great thing about Dan and I is that we are yin and yang, right? So if you ask Dan, like you just did, we're not going to be changing much. If you ask me, we're probably going to be changing almost everything, right? He does a great job of pulling my reins, and I do a great job of leading the leash, right? So together we are a good pair. But so the things that we are going to be working on are career paths for each position to empower associates on their careers. There's no doubt that newer generation and younger associates need more of a coach. They need a path. It's not okay to say, just be patient. No, I need to understand where I'm going. So we need career paths to keep them engaged and keep them on that path of success. We're working on simple things like expectations for each position, proper lines of communication, processes and procedures. Things when, we're a smaller company, it was okay to be a little lax on these things, but the bigger we get, the more structured we need to be. We don't want to change our culture and say, this is who we are and we're ruling with an iron fist. That's not what I'm talking about. I just mean putting things on paper and setting expectations and guiding people a little bit more.
Well, that's perfect because, at the end of the day, it's truly the outline of here's the expectation and here's how we can help you accomplish it. And here's what it looks like. And I am chuckling too, because when Jordan, when you had said, if somebody asks Dan a question and he says no, and they come over to me, we have this party line of always supporting the other. So there's no go ask mom, go ask dad, until you get the answer that you need. But building on that, as you grow and your company has been growing over the past couple of years here, do you think that the legacy of the company enhances or deters your ability to drive and lead innovation? Especially with, and I know that you're transitioning now into the co-presidency too, the handoff from one generation to the next, it's never cut and dry. You're always going to have that overlap. And I can see in the smiles on your faces too, that there must be, don't think about doing that. That's too radical or too crazy, where the two of you are probably like, Dad, when you stepped into your role, I'm sure you said that to the previous generation. So going back to my question, how does the legacy of the company enhance or deter your ability to lead innovation?
Such a tough question, because in terms of legacy, honestly, we can't focus on our legacy, in my opinion, because if you focus on the legacy, you're focusing on what people think about you too much. Mm-hmm. So really what we need to concentrate on and what we need to focus on is listening to our customers, listening to our associates, and understanding how the market and everything is evolving. If we listen and act on those evolutions, if you will, then I think we will be successful. Our legacy in terms of that, as long as we're acting with the same morals and same ethics that got us here, to me, that's going to extend our legacy, and that's going to allow us to achieve what our grandfather and what Jeff has done. So I don't want to say it's not important. It's just, I think if we concentrate on it, I'm going to lose more hair, and that's just not possible. It just puts so much added pressure on us, and it's hard to stay focused when we do that. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I think that if you look at our values and Jeff's values, and even our grandpa Sam and his partner Mel's values, they all align. The important things is where we align, right? We may disagree on how to use technology or what our sales commission structure might be, or you mentioned, I laughed a little bit when you said the thing that Jeff would be really upset if we changed. And we're sitting in his office right now, and there's this like real wood paneling all over his office and the office here. Mm-hmm. And the big joke is that he loves it and he never wants it to change. And we keep telling him as soon as he retires, we're taking it all down. So that is the one thing that when he leaves, if we ever changed, he would freak out.
Yeah.
But
it kind of goes back to that. That's his stamp on the company. That he's known for that. And,
yeah. But I guess back to your original question, in all seriousness, I mean, a lot of the things that we've done in terms of giving back to the community. So for our 70th anniversary in 2017, we did 70 random acts of kindness. We didn't throw a big party. We didn't get ourselves gifts. We didn't make a bunch of promotional items for our customers. We gave back to our communities. And we actually ended up doing 75 or 80 in all of our communities that we serve. For our 60th anniversary, we built a house for Habitat. During the pandemic last summer, when we typically do our steak fries, when our vendors and our customers all come out, we couldn't do that. So instead, we took those budget dollars and we bought gift certificates and gift cards from local restaurants and gave them to our customers to give to their customers that had lost their job or were going through hard times. So, and we don't
promote that other than telling you.
Yeah. So apparently now we're promoting it. But the point is, this is a value that is kind of woven throughout our company, and we continue that. Looking internally, my grandfather was one of the first people to start a profit-sharing 401k plan in the 50s, and today that is a very important part of our associates, of our benefit package. We put a lot of time and effort into making sure that is a good plan for our associates. So as long as those values are staying the same, I agree. I'm not really worried about our legacy, because the things that are important, we agree with my grandpa and my dad.
Well, first of all, that's such a beautiful give back. And it truly leads into not a company culture and family culture, because family culture will always find its way into the family owned and operated business. Can you describe to me the company culture that you have there, and how are you enhancing it now? I mean, you're doing amazing things, but what touch or spin would you like to put on it moving forward?
Yeah, I think really it comes down to caring about people as family and wanting everyone to succeed. You mentioned in the opening about our partnership philosophy, and basically what that means is we want our customers, our associates, and our vendors to be successful. That there's plenty of room in this industry for everyone to be successful. We're not successful unless all of our partners are successful. And that extends, like I said, our customers, our vendors, our associates. It's caring about people. Like Jordan said, the family family works third, right? So it's caring about people. It's doing the right thing. It means that a lot of times in our business, we make decisions that are in the best interest of our associates, our customers, and vendors over the company. Yeah. Right? We have to be profitable to stay in business. No one would tell you otherwise. Right. However, profit is not the only thing. What we want is to make sure that our 130 families can have good lives.
Yeah. And so to say what we're enhancing or refining, I would say is the accountability side of it, right? We do have to hold people accountable. We have to set expectation and then hold people accountable. I think that's the one thing in our culture that I wouldn't say is missing, because Jeff did everything perfectly. But I think that's one evolution that we need to make.
All right.
How would you describe your leadership styles?
I would say servant leadership. So our job, us personally, in terms of management and executive team, is not to sell the most, to do the most. It's to allow our associates to be successful. And so we serve our associates, whatever they need, whatever guidance, mentorship, motivation, whatever it is that they need, that's on us to provide and then get out of the way. I mean, we have awesome people in our organization. If we don't trust them enough to do their jobs, then why are they here? So it's really, I think servant leadership is the best word for us there.
Yeah, Jeff jokes when someone asks him what he does. He's like, I don't really do anything. He calls himself the cheerleader. And really in essence, that's what we do. We guide the ship. We provide people with the tools and resources to do the job, but we're not out there talking to customers every day. I mean, we're not the ones on the front lines. We're not driving the delivery trucks. We rely on people to do that who are frankly better at that than we are. And they're great at their jobs. And our job is to give them the necessary tools and support to do that. In
terms of providing your employees support and empowerment, I believe, Jordan, you had talked about creating, the definition for what's within each job, and providing tools for that. And I know that you both have, in regards to your buying group, as well as other organizations such as American Supply Association, where you've been working with them on their Emerging Leaders program and other tracks. What other things are you providing to your employees to help them on their path specifically, to not only help them within the company or within the industry overall?
Great. Yeah. So training is one thing that we do. ASA, any class they want, we will provide and we will pay for. We have we have promoted an internal associate that was the smartest person that we know in terms of our industry and just in general and everything. And we've converted them into a Sherpa, and they are the internal guide for our associates. So his job is to literally go to each branch and figure out what opportunities they are to learn and then provide those opportunities. So that's one, I think, small but big thing. And then the others are having check-ins to figure out what they need, what they want. We will provide anything, whether it's a women in empowerment class for our director of first impressions that felt like she didn't have the confidence that she needed. We'll send her whatever it needs, whatever someone needs to do in order to become a better person. Why wouldn't we do it, right? Because the whole pronoun, right? You and me equals us. So if you get better, then we get better, right? So we want to just make everybody better, as corny as that sounds, right?
Yeah. And I would add, it's also the way we talk about it. So from their onboarding meetings with Jordan, myself, and others, we talk about the opportunities for advancement, our policy of always wanting to promote from within. We have a couple of different associates in our organization who started off in accounting and are now in showroom sales, right? And they are great at it. And one of them is actually now a manager. So you never really know where people's interests lie or what they'll be good at until you talk to them about it. So it's a matter of talking to them about it, learning where their interests lie, learning something that they want to learn more about, and then helping them get there.
Yeah, when someone's not successful, typically it's not a discussion of, okay, let's get them out of here. It's okay, let's find another seat on the bus. Their skill sets are different than what we're asking. So let's find a place where their skill sets can shine. That's kind of how we are trying to lead this organization.
And remind me, you have Mid-City has 130 employees. Is that correct?
Yeah, roughly.
130-ish employees and team members. And I've got to imagine that several of them have been there. They're pretty well seasoned. Do you have multi-generations of different families that have worked for the company?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that speaks volumes. It speaks back to the company culture and who you are and where you're going. And speaking of where you're going, taking a look at the future here, 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, what's the one thing that you'd like to accomplish to have on your radar there that, you've always had in the back of your mind? You're like, I wish as a company we would do X, Y, Z.
I would like to see our training center be elite. So Mid-City Technical Center is something that we're taking pride in. So if you ask how anybody in our industry, how do you learn? It's typically hands-on. And so if we come in with a PowerPoint presentation and tell them how to do something, that's not going to hit. So what we've done is created live hands-on training in our classrooms. And our goal is to increase multiple classrooms throughout our branches to have these live hands-on training. So I think the more we do that, the better. Whether someone buys from us or not, we want them to get trained, because high tide raises all boats, right? So we want our industry to be known for excellence, whether they buy from us and they're smart people, or they buy from the other people too. It doesn't matter, right? So we still want everybody to get trained and do a better job. So I'd say that's one.
Well, that helps with the health of the channel too. I mean, like you said, high tide raises all boats. When did the Mid-City Technical Center, when was that formed or started?
So the actual name and the actual branding of it was probably 2 years ago. Once we had the vision of getting more involved on the training side and really putting a lot of investment and time and energy into that. We've always wanted to train, and we've always thought training is important. It's just we're kind of taking that next step into that training world.
Yeah, and we, like Jordan said, we've always had training rooms. One of our priorities in all of our locations is we always put a training room in all of our locations where possible. In about, like you said, about 2 years ago, we're constantly talking about what do our customers need? How can we add value in this process? And the training arm really kind of came up because especially around here, there's not always a lot of places people can train on live equipment. So one of the things we thought was, can we outfit our classrooms with live equipment so we can fire live equipment and have more robust training classes? So a couple of years ago, we put venting and power and gas and all the hookups in our room, and we took one of our HVAC associates and made him a little bit more of a trainer, and it's kind of developed from there.
Well, it sounds like, as a company, you're running full speed ahead, and as family members too, you're running full speed ahead. And we talked about, within what's important in the order of importance, the company will always come third. Family is always within the top two there, which leads me to my question for you is you spend so much time together, working together, the family life and the work life, but there's got to be a point in time where you take time for yourself to recharge, but also to help guide you and mentor you along your leadership path. So what are you both doing to ensure that you continue to grow and develop as leaders?
I think a big part of it is keeping a learning mindset in general. Knowing that we don't know everything, or we know a lot less than everything. Mm-hmm. And that there's no limit to where we can learn any of the information. So whether it's learning from Jeff, who's done it for years, or I learned plenty of things from Jordan as well. It's keeping that open mind, and you never know where you're going to learn that next lesson. In terms of some of the more structured things, it's, going to the ASA and the emerging leaders and all the other the TCG meetings and going to all those meetings. I belong to a business networking group locally as well, trying to expand my horizons there. So, but really it's about knowing that you don't know everything, continuing to have that learning mindset and ask questions. So.
Yeah. To add on that, I sit on a few boards to see other organizations that help see, different experiences. But like he said, the one thing I know is I know nothing. Right. And so if I can continue to ask questions and continue to listen, the more I listen, the more I'll learn. And we will also learn a lot through mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. There's no doubt. If you're not making mistakes, you're not trying. So we will be making mistakes. We got to learn from those too. And then, how do I get out of the mindset? I don't think that's possible. I think that's just the nature of the beast, right? We're going to go to bed thinking about this and wake up thinking about it. But we do, I think, make a conscious effort, and I speak for Dan as well, of when we're home, we're home. And we have gotten yelled at before at family outings. So we're not at work. Stop talking about business. Okay, got it. So we take time to be with our families. I learn a lot from my son for patience and, being open-minded and things. So we still have the ability to have lives outside of this. That's for sure.
Is there a piece of advice that your father has given to the two of you stepping into the next role?
Don't screw it up.
Don't take down the wood paneling.
Yeah.
Is there a saying that's on his board behind you there?
Oh, it's the definition of a customer is somebody that needs something from you. And then the rest of it is,
So that quote was from an associate, I believe, that said a customer is somebody that relies on you to get what they need. So it's just a very general definition. But I think in terms of his advice to us, it's really, I don't know that I have specific words, but it's really just more in how he carries himself and how he is around here. It's being that cheerleader. It's whenever we're making decisions, big or small, we're keeping the associates and the customers' well-being and opinion out in front, and always considering what it means to all the different parties to make those decisions, and really erring on the side of them. I mean, when you make a decision, you need to consider them, and usually we err on the side of making one that's better for those groups.
Yeah, and it's funny. I did actually have a conversation with him, I think last night, about what were you dealing with these things? He's, oh no, this is much worse than when I was doing things. So I was like, oh, thanks. Yeah, that sounds great, right?
Well, you know what? Each generation of leaders has their own challenges that they go through. I was just on interviewing another generational leader who had said that the previous generation had gone through 5 big disruptions in the industry. And we were talking about COVID, and this leader said, as a leader, I've only gone through 1. It's COVID. It's pretty big, but the previous generation has gone through 5. And I thought, oh my God, what's coming down the pipeline? But knowing that they have all these tools and the family legacy and the associates that are so bonded and strong together, you're going to be able to weather a storm.
Yeah.
Which I want to end with this question. And taking COVID out of it, what is the smallest change that either one of you have made, or maybe both of you have made within the company that's had the biggest positive result?
Go ahead. Oh, so for me, it's really hard to ask any question about the last year and take COVID out of it. So I kind of feel like that's all we've done for a year. But one that's not necessarily COVID related, I would say trying to not worry about the things I can't control. I don't know if that's small enough for you. That's I guess that could be bigger, but it's helped me with all the COVID things, as well as all the other supply issues and everything else. It's control what we can control, keep a positive attitude about it, and not let the other things kind of bring you down.
Yeah. And, I think if it's COVID, trying to keep COVID out of it, because I would say one thing with COVID is that we consciously are buying more for 4 to 6 months instead of 1 to 2 months. And that's helped us up to this point. Well, right now it's a little more difficult, but I would say we are leading in allowing branches to create their own sort of culture, if you will, and also allowing them listen to their markets and not create a set of standards that every branch must abide by. And what that actually evolved into was one of the things that I think is a small change that actually helped us improve our services on the showroom side. We are only by appointment only now. And we did convert to that because of COVID. But what we realized is that the showroom associates are able to spend more time and energy with that one individual, that one homeowner. So then when there's a walk-in, then they take time away. It's not like that anymore. It's okay. You have my undivided attention. I'm here for you. And then when you say we need an appointment, it actually creates some sort of, I think, higher perceived value. So I've noticed that is something that has worked really well, and we're going to keep that moving forward.
That's fantastic. It's such a pleasure to sit here and have this conversation with the two of you. Like I said, I've known you both for so long, and your family as well. And it's wonderful to see the next generation that's coming in and you're taking from the legacy from your father, and you're going to put your own stamp on it and move it forward. And I look forward to celebrating your successes along the way here. So thank you very much for joining me here today to discuss generational leadership. And I look forward to the opportunity of seeing the two of you, hopefully sometime in person later this year.
And thank you, Ruth, for all you've done for our industry and all that you keep doing. So this was, for us, Jeff puts you on a pedestal. So for us, this was quite the honor that you are interviewing us. And So you're more of a celebrity than anyone that we know. So thank you.
Well, you both are so kind. And I just asked that with the next generation here of leadership at Mid-City Supply, who's getting the purple velour jacket that your dad owns?
I'll wear that with pride.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you model that. So thank you both again. Greatly appreciate it. And a big thank you to our sponsor of today's event, Liberty Pumps, who a great partner in the channel here to us all. So thank you both. And I look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Take care.
Sounds great. Thanks, Lori.